Doing a little bathroom vlog. So it's gonna be a little echoey. And there's my facial creamer. So my facial creamer is gonna be the star of this video. No, but so I wanna speak a little bit about how I felt when I realized that women were hypergamous. And for me, it was a real long time coming for me to figure that out. I wish that, in a way, I wish that someone would have told me when I was younger what hypergamy was, but also, like, I don't know if I would have accepted it because I was so young, and I had, when you're young, in your 20s, you have so much hope that, like, oh, I'm gonna find the love of my life, and I'm gonna find this great woman, and it's gonna be awesome, and she's gonna love me, da da da. And I'm glad. I mean, I'm sad, but I'm also glad in a way that, I got sick. Because if I didn't get sick, then I might have, because I was pretty geared up to go out, and I think it's part of our DNA as men, to go out and work, and to go out and, make a career for ourselves, make money, right? And we don't realize at the time, we think, I think subconsciously, I don't know if it was subconscious, it was just part of the whole thought that, like, I remember when I got sick, I was thinking, like, well, what girl is gonna fall in love with me? What girl is gonna marry me? It's exactly what I was thinking for like 5 years. I was just thinking, like, what girl's gonna fall in love with the guy who can't work, who's sick, who doesn't have any money? And the sad part of that is I was right. I knew it, but I guess I had hoped against hope. Maybe someone out there will look past it, and it was like, that's a sad, hard pill to swallow, but, and looking back, it's very sad, and it's still sad, but it's, at the same time, it's like, but at least it's the truth, maybe the truth is sad, maybe the truth is depressing, and maybe it's, the truth is shallow, and or the truth is that the world is shallow, the world is barren, the world lacks love, but it took me, gosh, 10 years, for sure 10 years, to really understand that a man's worth is tied to his ability to provide. A man's worth is tied to his ability to make money in this world. And that's actually a black pill. That's not a red pill, that's a black pill. Right? A lot of these black pill guys are whining because I think a lot of these black pill guys are not very woke. They don't really understand what it really is. What it really is about hypergamy. It's not as much about looks. A lot of these black pill guys online that I see, they're whining about looks. I'm not hot enough. I'm not good looking enough. They think it's looks. But that's really kind of sophomoric. That's really kind of ignorant. It's less about looks, and it's more about finances. It's more about your money and your status, right? That makes up for looks. You could be a funny looking guy, or you got a big nose, or you got small ears, or you got, you're kind of lanky or weird look. It doesn't matter. If you got money and you got status, that will make up for it, believe me, as far as women are concerned. I see it all the time. Love is attached to finances, quote unquote love. There's no such thing as true love. True love doesn't exist because all love is conditional. And love is based on hypergamy. And when I say hypergamy, there's different flavors of hypergamy. There's the girl who's the real obvious gold digger, the diva, the basketball wife gold digger. that woman doesn't even have any inkling of love. She doesn't have any. She's just nasty, and nasty in the sense that she's all about that coin. She's all about that money. But then you have other women who they want love. They say they want love, and they do, but they want their version of love. And their version of love is attached to a guy that they call a quote unquote real man. And this is a man who goes out and works and provides for his family. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem too bad, right? That doesn't seem too bad. It's like, okay, well, he's providing for his family. I guess that's what men do. But if you understand that if you remove his career, or if you remove his job from the equation, his ability to lease a house, his ability to pay the rent, his ability to put food on the table, if you take that away, then she doesn't love him anymore. You see what I'm saying? That quote unquote love that she has, and it might be a better love than that incredible gold digger basketball wife, right? Or football wife, or whatever, the divas of Beverly Hills, right? It's better than that. But again, it's contingent, and it's based upon the fact that he's able to provide. If he doesn't provide, she's gone. She's gone. She'll remove her love. This is animalistic. This is shallow. This is, some might say, well, that's just the way it is. Well, that's just the way it is, and it's sick. It's hollow, right? So it took me 10 years to realize that. It took me 10 years to realize that this is how women are. There's no woman out there, and okay, let me take that back. I'm not going to say there's no woman out there, because I've seen it. There are women out there who will take care of men who are broken, who are damaged. I think it's part of it, though. I think that part of them, they have this I need to fix a man syndrome. There are women out there who like depressed men, who like men who are down and out. And it's weird how they do this. I don't know, it's some kind of weird childish thing that they do, this kind of fix him up attitude that they have. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix him. But then oftentimes when the guy doesn't get fixed, then they're gone. And they're like, I wasted 5 years on him, because they expected him to get fixed. I've talked to a lot of girls like that who are like, my ex didn't work and I took care of my ex. I'm like, well, why is he your ex? Why isn't he your husband? You're not going to take care of him? Well, he was always borrowing money from me, and he was always doing this, and it's like, okay, well, that's what you wanted. You chose him, and you tried to fix him, and it didn't work, so that's as far as your love went. You thought he was going to be a frog that turned into a prince, and it didn't happen. So that's how far your love went. That's how deep your love was. You had a weird, kind of quirky, kind of childish idea that you were going to fix him, and it didn't happen, and then you dumped him, and you moved on to a real man, right? A lot of women do that. That's not uncommon. But then, even rarer occasions, there is the woman who will continue to take care of the man who just doesn't do that much. I don't know, man. It's a weird phenomenon. I've seen it, but it's not common. Very uncommon. So most of the time, you're gonna have a woman who's dating around trying to find what she wants, and there's going to be some guys that are going to be considered bums and that are going to be in her life that she's going to date, but then eventually she's going to dump those guys and she's going to go find her a real man, and this inevitably happens. And it took me 10 years to realize that. And for me, it really was like how I felt when I learned that bodybuilders took steroids. Because when I was young, when I was a kid, 12 years old, watching Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, like, whoa, he's so buff, and he looked natural. In the movies, he didn't look all crazy like Paul Dillett. I don't know if you know what Paul Dillett is, or Ronnie Coleman, how they look just freakish, like they're obviously on steroids. Arnold Schwarzenegger looked pretty natural in his movies, and he had this big muscle, but it didn't look like he was on any substances. But then you find out 10, 15 years later, when you're 25, 30, that, oh yeah, all these guys are on steroids. Arnold admitted he was on steroids. All these guys are on steroids. Even if they look somewhat natural, they might not be on as much steroids as the next guy, but they're all on steroids. They're all phony, so to speak. They didn't earn it. They didn't get that way naturally. And then you see natural bodybuilders and guys who work out naturally, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's achievable. That's, but there's a big difference between that and your heroes. Your heroes when you were, 10, to 15 years old, and you see like, oh man, these guys are my heroes. I want to hit the gym. I want to get buff. When I learned that those guys were on steroids, I was like, oh shit, that's like my childhood, man. That's like my childhood gun. And so it's the same thing. Like when you're a kid, like, oh, she's gonna love me for me, and she's gonna appreciate me for who I am. And then people say like, there's always someone out there for you. Just keep looking. You'll find somebody. You go through bad relationships, and these girls are mean to you, or they cheat on you, or they're slutty, or they, you're not good enough for them, or whatever it may be. And someone's like, oh yeah, just keep dating. You're gonna find somebody. You're gonna find somebody. And it's like your dreams are shattered when you realize, oh, it's contingent upon how much money I make. That's the problem. Oh, it's based on my finances. They're hypergamous. Oh, okay, they want this real man who's going to take care of them financially, and if that doesn't happen, then they're gone. And you're always going to hear a counter argument like, oh, well, women can work now. Some women have careers. Yeah, but they still don't want no broke man, because this is how the world is. The world is based on, you know, your worth as a man is based on what you do for work. How many times have people come up to you and say, hey, what's going on? Trying to get to know you, talk to you. What do you do for work? How many times have you been at the bar or club or on a date with a woman and she's like, well, what do you do for work? How's your career? These are questions because society is sick. They're trying to size you up. They're trying to figure out where you're at financially. Does he make more money than me? Is he a good catch? Are my parents going to like him? This is relationships. This is life, man. And you realize this after 10 years of, failure and sucking it up in the dating game. Just when you first start something, before you get good at it, you kind of suck at it, and you're just sucking for like a couple years or months or however long before it takes you to get good at something. When I first started playing basketball when I was a teenager, I sucked at it. I wasn't any good, but I was determined to get better. So I practiced and I practiced and I practiced until 2 years after I started, I was pretty good. And then 2 years after that, I was even better. And then 2 years after that, I was really good. And then 2 years after that, I was really, really talented and I was killing it. It took me 8 years to get really good at basketball. Of practice, playing. And now I haven't played in years, but it's still there. The skill is still there. So it took me 5 years to realize that, just sucking. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I need money to impress them. Oh, I get it. That's why these girls aren't giving me the time of day. Because they realize I don't have any status. They realize I don't have any success financially. Or they date me for a little while and then they figure it out and then they're like, oh shit, and then they dump me and they're gone. Right? So it's like, I wanted to be a photographer. I started out with a crappy camera. I was like, okay, this camera's crappy, but at least it takes pictures. And then after a while, I was like, oh, I can't take this kind of shot. I can't take this kind of shot. Oh, the resolution isn't very good here. Oh, okay. And eventually you realize, oh, I need a better camera. I can't continue on to, being a photographer if I don't have a better camera. It's the same thing when you're dating. You realize at some point, oh, I can't find the quote unquote the love of my life unless I have a career. It's the same with steroids. Oh, I can't be a bodybuilder unless I take steroids. I can only get to a certain point until you're not going to look good anymore, because, you're not going to be able to compete on another level because the guys on the other level, they're all on steroids. You can't compete with those guys because you're not on steroids. Oh, I'm eating right, I'm lifting heavy, I'm resting. It doesn't work. It only gets you to a certain point. And you realize this after a few years of doing it. It's the same with dating. You can't get to that next level, real love, until you have a good career, until you're able to offer them something financially. And this is how women operate. And this is hypergamy. And that's when your heart sinks and when the bottom gets taken out, when it's like, oh shit, there's no such thing as real love. It's all contingent upon what a man can provide for a woman, what he can do as far as utility is concerned, how many bills can he pay. And this is what women are saying. They're saying this. It's just they're not so clear about it. Oh, I want a real man. You're not a real man. What's a real man? A guy that's going to pay for her shit. Gonna pay her bills, provide for her, give her children, take care of her kids. That's a real man. So you're a means to an end. There's no such thing as real love. It's all conditional. And you learn this after you date around a lot. You're like, oh, okay, well, I can attract them initially. I'm not a bad looking dude. I can attract them initially. But what's the reason why they're not sticking around? Oh, I don't have the money. I got sick. I got to tell them, oh, you know what? I got sick. I don't have, and then they're gone. They don't care. In fact, they'll feel sorry for you. They're not going to continue to love you. Their love is contingent. This is female nature. This is real hypergamy. Hypergamy is not just the gold digging diva. It's the woman who wants the man who can provide for her. That's hypergamy. That's female nature. And even if they have a career, even if they make money, they still want you to make money. They still want you to, because it's in their nature. It's in their biology. And that was the hardest thing for me. That was the saddest thing for me when I realized that, because it's like that whole narrative where you're like, true love, I want true love, I want somebody to really love me unconditionally. It's not true. How many times did it take? 3 or 4 relationships before I realized, oh, and all kinds of dates, all kinds of, friends with benefits, hookups, all these things, until you realize, oh, the reason why they're not sticking around is because I don't have that money. I don't have that status. The reason why they're chasing these real men, these guys who we think are bad boys, but what do they have? Those bad boys got the cool cars, they got the money, they got the good job. TLC made a song, I Don't Want No Scrub. This is women. This is how women are. And men play into it. Men allow it. Men think, oh yeah, she really loves me. Take away your career.